We look at this powerhouse that we call the UP Fighting Maroons, and they are a powerhouse. They just come at you in so many different ways, inside, outside, defensively, offensively, and they were heavily favored to win this game. Covering the game, I made it very, very important that LaSalle make it a playoff game. It had to be a playoff atmosphere. They are, I feel, turning a corner, learning how to play without Shawnee Winston, and I think that was a big reason for them winning the game.
Without a Shawnee Winston, guys need to step up.
Yes.
Mark Nonoy had his best game shooting-wise. KQ had an incredible fourth quarter where he scored 13 in the fourth. Are those guys the guys that need to step up in a more regular basis if they want to make the Final Four and possibly go beyond?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, we've seen CJ Austria step up. Actually, CJ Austria has been consistent all season long. Maybe not in a scoring role, but he's been doing what he's been asked to do. Initially, 3-and-D, and he's been one of their best defenders. Shawnee goes down, he steps up his scoring, hits this game winner to beat Adamson. Now, you know, he's his consistent self. To get over the hump to beat AUP, you need more, and they got more. That great third quarter where Mark Nonoy hits his first mid-range jumper, I'm like, okay, this is gonna open up the rim for him, and it did. 13 points in that third quarter. And then you finally see the maturity of a KQ, knowing where to get his shots, and the activity on the offensive glass was great.
LaSalle has beaten the big ones also, right? Ateneo, UP, and NU. Okay, now the question lies, can they progress without Shawnee Winston? Since you mentioned him and you mentioned the other players who might be able to cover up for him. But when you look at the bigger picture, and I mean strength of schedule and all of that, can they?
I mean, I can only see it get better from here for them.
Okay.
Imagine a Mark Nonoy putting a complete game together with CJ Austria staying consistent, with Evan Nelly staying consistent, being his playmaking self, and then also a complete game from Kevin Quiambao. I mean, this LaSalle team without Shawnee Winston is still very, very strong. So imagine them putting a complete game together. We've seen what they can do with one half from Mark Nonoy and Kevin Quiambao. They were able to beat the #1 team in the UAAP.
So with that win, LaSalle is back in the hunt for the Final Four. A lot of people thought that a loss really would have made things a lot difficult. So we're going to bring up the remaining games here for those in the hunt for the Final Four, because it is a very packed middle here, and it could swing either way. We've seen all these teams almost beat each other at one point. As we take a look at that right there, LaSalle have a tough run-up, NU, UE, and then, of course, if you're looking at Adamson, it's FEU and NU, and FEU a crucial matchup against Adamson next.
And may Ateneo pa.
There's so much. There's so much. So how do you look at that?
Well, I'm looking at all the scenarios, and let's focus on LaSalle right here. NU, UE, USC. Record-wise, they are above UE, they are above UST. So record-wise, they can get to 7 wins. Okay. You look at the team that they're tied with, Adamson. They have a tougher road ahead.
That's why last win was big for them.
That's why them beating Adamson was huge, and them getting over UP was even bigger.
Yeah.
With that puts them in prime position to get that last Final Four spot.
UE has Ateneo and LaSalle last. FEU probably the toughest road. Well, you know, they have Adamson, they have UST, but because of the setback that they had this weekend, that made it way tougher for them. And what a heartbreak for them. They were up 19 in that game, looking good, firing in all cylinders. And then, as always, the third quarter, 35-11, Ateneo finishes that game and takes the game away from FEU. I have to ask you about UP. Okay, so they're safe. Sure, they're there. They have a slot at the very least. What did that loss do to them, in your opinion?
Well, I think that it's only going to serve as a motivating factor. I know they're going to go back to practice. Coach Gold is going to show them all the missed opportunities, all the mistakes that they made, and they're going to work on that. I call these the cardiac kids. You know, they've fought through.
They like to make it hard on their fans, right?
They fought through so many close games, and they just have that bounce back ability about them, and I think they're only going to get better from this.
Yeah, you know, you look at what UP has done in the recent track record. I think that's going to be the expectation of them. But of course, again, looking at the final schedules, or at least the remaining games for the schools, you take a look at NU, who technically doesn't necessarily need to, well, really mess it up even more. Yeah. But then, how much are you cheering for NU if you're Adamson when you know that LaSalle's playing against them next? Because they need one more loss about LaSalle to make it really more difficult in terms of the standings and potential ties in the middle of the pack.
Well, you know what, that NU LaSalle game, yes, it is big, but I still feel that even with a loss to NU, I'm talking about LaSalle, they win 2 out of 3. I think they are, in my opinion, standings-wise, in position to get that Final Four slot.
Is there a possibility that they can all end up 11-3?
There is.
There is, right? There's an outside chance that the top 3 can still end up 11-3,
correct? But it's unlikely. It's unlikely. It's unlikely.
Hey,
I mean, we can hope for that. But what I'm,
no, we're not hoping for it. I'm just saying, from a fan standpoint, posible.
Yeah. But the biggest thing that I'm hoping for is a first-round matchup between UP and the De La Salle Green Archers.
Again, like season 84.
Again, I love
like
those are fun games.
I love the first game in round 1.
Yeah.
I love this last game in round 2. I love their matchups
in 84.
last season
84,
in the Final Four, the twice a beat. I just think that styles make fights, and these two teams
they match up.
They just match up so well.
Well, can we arrange that? What?
Hey.
Special match? Even? Just a special match?
St. LaSalle.
Doesn't have to do with the standings? Laro lang?
Closed door game.
Hindi naman closed door.
we need the crowd up there. Coach Willie, thank you very much again. Really appreciate you for all your takes.
Always.